What's good, Cornertalks family? So today's episode 8 of the podcast. And so we got a good amount of stuff to talk about today. Not a whole lot from the NBA, little stuff here and there. MLB, there are actually a few things I want to talk about for that. And then for NFL playoff, we got to dive into that. And then last but not least, lifestyle stuff. We'll talk about the election and some little stuff here and there, but not a whole lot. So let's get started. Let's get the NFL out of the way so that we can get into more detail about everything else. So the NFL playoff, a lot of stuff has happened. A lot of shocking ones, a lot of pretty good games. So let's see which game will start off first. So let's start off with the where is it? There it is. So the Washington Commanders and Philadelphia Eagles. Wait, my bad. That's the next round. But we got the Houston Texans versus Kansas City Chiefs. So this game was interesting because the Kansas City Chiefs should have lost. The refs saved their season automatically. I even put a poll up on my one of my social medias, and I asked the people, I'm like, what do you guys think? Was it the ref or was it just a game, like a regular game? Everyone said the ref. There was no one saying about, it was just a good fall game. And the Chiefs won 23-14. In the beginning, the Texans were doing really good against the Chiefs. Defense doing good, offense, but they could have done a little better. Then all of a sudden, penalties were flying. Like, what I didn't get is that the Chiefs did so many penalties that they wouldn't call it. Like, one moment there was a field goal the Texans were doing, and one of the defensive players of the Chiefs went offside. They never called it. You can see in the replay, went offside. Now, on the other hand, the Texans, what the penalties they got were just ridiculous. Like, they said roughing the passer, even though Patrick Mahomes threw the ball right away. But when C.J. Stroud got hit, I think it was out of bounds, no penalty there. And then another one happened was when two of the Texans players ran into each other, like head-to-head contact, while they were trying to get Patrick Mahomes. And for some reason, that was a penalty on the Texans. And they grazed him, not even. They barely touched Patrick Mahomes, and they called that a penalty. That's ridiculous. So, we just gotta see. I feel like the NFL really, or the refs, are really trying to get the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl because Taylor Swift, you got the repeat that looks good for the NFL, and bro, come on, man, we're tired of seeing the Chiefs. So, like I said, Chiefs won 23-14. Next up, we got the Commanders versus Lions. This one was very, very shocking. Everyone thought the Lions were going to win because of their defense, even though they were, injured. More than, 10, 12 of their players were injured. They were able to be one of the top defensive teams in the league. Now, Commanders, you could have seen something about them. They got a lot of heart, which they showed, and that's why they won 45-31. Who was the mistake on this for the Lions? I would say their defense was making a lot of mistakes. But you gotta give them credit when credit's due. And throughout the whole season, they were doing well. So it's okay for them to get blamed just for this game because, come on, they barely were healthy and they went this far. That's really impressive. But Washington Commanders are gonna move on to the NFC Championship game, the first time since 1991, and that was when they won a Super Bowl. So we're going to see if they actually go to the Super Bowl next round. I'll let you know who they're versing the next round, too. So next up, we got the Rams versus Eagles. The Eagles won 28-22. This game, I was a little bit shocked on this because I thought the Eagles were going to kind of blow out the Rams, but in a way, the Rams kind of had a little bit of an edge because what happened in LA, and I think it's just they're an underdog team when it came to when they were versing the Eagles. But Eagles end up winning 28-22. I do think that the Rams had multiple chances to win the game. Multiple chances. I think the last 5 to 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they were having 3 to 4 tries of actually gaining a lead. But the reason why they weren't doing so well is because, yes, you can say the Eagles defense did do, pretty good, but not entirely, because I think the snow really impacted the Rams. So you could just tell the ball was slippery. The catches weren't there. The players couldn't really see it. It was very brutal. It was too cold. It was like 20, 30 degrees out, maybe even colder than that. So I would say snow is a little bit more of an impact of the Rams, how bad they were playing the fourth, than how the Eagles were playing on defense. But this is what I think. You can let me know in the comments. But yeah, the Eagles move on. And then last but not least, we got the Ravens versus Bills. The Ravens ended up losing 25-27 versus the Bills. This game, I watched a good amount of it, but I have to say, though, the Ravens could have won this game, I feel like. There was a lot of mistakes on Lamar Jackson's part. For some reason, every single year in the playoffs when Lamar Jackson goes, he tends to fumble the game for them. Like, bro, come on. Stop, making mistakes, bro. Like, you're not like your rookie year. Like, you've been in the league for a little while now. And he was making too many silly mistakes. He could throw the ball away. He ended up fumbling it or interception it. It was bad, bro. I was rooting for the Ravens too, but it is what it is. The Bills move on to the next round. So it's going to be Chiefs versus Bills once again. I think it's been like 2 or 3 years straight, something like that. And then it's going to be Commanders versus Eagles. Oof. So I feel like the game I'm going to be looking for the most, I think it's both of them. Because the Bills and the Chiefs, they always had a good head-to-head battle. And then the Commanders and the Eagles, is something a little bit, something a little bit interesting about that game. I feel like it's going to be good. Because the Commanders' defense was doing good. And then their offense is just I don't know what happened to them. They just ended up being one of the top offensive team in this playoff. I think that's going to be a really good game. I think I'm going to choose more of the Commanders versus Eagles because I feel like that's going to be more of like a really good head-to-head battle. You can say the Chiefs and Bills, but I don't know. I just feel like the refs are just going to be on the Chiefs too much. But I'm definitely going to root for the Bills because I'm sick of the Chiefs, bro. And I hope it's not Eagles versus Chiefs again in the Super Bowl. I hope not. Please. So I hope it's like Commanders versus Bills or even like just a different team. Like Commanders versus Chiefs, even though I don't want the Chiefs at all. But yeah, that was the playoffs for the divisional round. So the conference championship is going to be pretty good. So we just got to wait and see. So now let's move on to the other NFL news. So, as you know, a lot of teams throughout the playoffs, they start making moves. So, let's talk about, where is it? So, a lot of coaches are getting hired, interviewed. As you know about the New York Jets, they had multiple, process of like interviewing, over 30 coaches, 15 GMs. It was, I don't know if they're just being too much or they're being smart, but it sounds like Aaron Glenn, of the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, might actually be the Jets head coach. Right now, I see Aaron Glenn has made it known he's planning to take the Jets head coaching job as early as yesterday. But yesterday, it didn't really show anything. He left the building without signing. I think he's going to be the next head coach for the Jets, I'm guessing. Doesn't really tell me any information. Let me look up other information first. Yeah, it doesn't show anything else about this. Oh, wait. Uh, the Jets have started calling coaches and general managers candidates to inform they are going in another direction. Those sources are under the belief that Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark will be named the team's next head coach and GM. Things are not 100% finalized done yet. Update: both have left the building without a deal. Nothing is done, but nothing is wrong either. Yeah, so I don't know what to deal with the New York Jets job. They've been, saying Aaron Glenn's going to get the job, but we just got to wait and see, especially the GM. You got to wait and see. But if that's the case, if Aaron Glenn becomes the Jets head coach, people are going to be, I get it. People are going to say, oh, he's just like Robert Saleh. Yeah, defense, hype, but this and that. But the thing is that Aaron Glenn is different. Like, something about him is different. Yeah, he got specific traits like Robert Saleh before he came to New York. But Aaron Glenn shows that he's not just a defensive coach, he's a head coach. He also talks to the offensive side of the ball when he was with Detroit. He also was a former Jets player. He also talks to Bill Parcells, which was his former coach that coached the Jets. So I think with all of this traits, like him connected to the Jets a lot, he honestly is a good fit. If I had to choose, I would have chose Rex Ryan. I'm not going to lie. But, hey, the past is the past. You can't really bring that back. It's not our choice as fans to choose a head coach. It's the organization's choice. But we just got to wait and see. But I think Aaron Glenn's going to do a good job. As for the GM, what's his name? Lance Newmark. I heard good things about him. Yes, he was with the Lions organization, I think, for like 26 years. So it was like pretty bad because they weren't doing that well for 26 years until 2 or 3 years ago. But I heard really good things about him, that he's really close with Aaron Glenn. And I think that's okay. I mean, what other GM can you choose out there? The other one that the Jets wanted, already chose their teams. So it's kind of like, we're kind of stuck with him. That's the best choice, which I think is fine. I think it's fine. Now let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. They extended Kevin O'Connell multi-year extension. I think this is a good move for the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell been bringing them to the playoffs mostly every single year. Yes, there's some bad decisions that he made as a coach, but I think he is the right fit for the job, 100%. Because what other coach will, do as good as Kevin O'Connell has for the Vikings for the past couple of years since he's been here. Now let's talk about the New England Patriots. They signed Josh McDaniel. They reunited with him as their offensive coordinator. It's his third stint in New England, which is interesting. But if I was Josh McDaniel, I wouldn't even leave New England anymore. You're best fit to stay there. Don't leave 3 times. You've been successful in New England. You're not a head coach. I know you're trying to be a head coach, but look what happened when you were with the Raiders and the Broncos. It was not good. So just stay in New England, bro. You're a good offensive coordinator, but you're not a good coach. And last but not least, we'll talk about Ben Johnson. So, former Lions offensive coordinator, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, has signed with the Chicago Bears as their next head coach. Now, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good move, the Bears, to bring Ben Johnson in, or no? For me personally, I think this is a really good move because there's really nobody else that will help Caleb Williams. I feel like, yeah, you could have brought in Mike McCarthy, but I think he doesn't have the patience and the time like Ben Johnson would. I think the coach would pretty much help him go on a whole new level. His offensive mind is really, really, really good. And you see what he did with Jared Goff. Jared Goff, before he came to Detroit in LA, he wasn't, they were like, all right. But then when he came to Detroit, his offense was like really good. So bringing him as a head coach, I think could help a lot. But this is his first time being a head coach, so we've just got to see if it plans out well, which I hope it does, because I am somewhat of a Bears fan. I do want to see the Bears succeed, but they haven't found the right coach. So we just got to see. But I think this is a good hire for the Bears. I feel like he's not going to only help the quarterback, but also help the running backs, help the wide receivers. He's going to pretty much transition from that Detroit Lions offense to Chicago. And I think that's going to help a lot. So, yeah, I'm excited for the Bears to, work with Ben Johnson. And then nothing else really for the NFL. As for college, I didn't really watch the National College Championship game of Notre Dame versus Ohio State. But I heard that Ohio State won. Interesting. I need to get back into my college football knowledge, because I don't really follow it like that. Like I said always in every single video, we do the podcast, but we'll just see what happens. If something changes, maybe I'll start watching it again. Oh, wow. So, by the way, as for college, former superstar USC running back Reggie Bush says he wants to be USC's head coach. He said, "I would love to come back and be the head coach of USC at some point and help lead USC to a national championship." Ooh. So how do you feel about this? You think USC should hire Reggie Bush as their head coach? He never had experience, though, as a coach, really. He's one of the best running backs in our generation. Well, my generation, I would say. Would I take a flyer on Reggie Bush? I don't know. Maybe like a smaller role to see how he does as an offensive coordinator or running back coach, and see how well he does with that. And then maybe promote him like years down the road. But it's up to USC. I don't think USC will do that. I feel like maybe because they haven't gone to a national championship game in I don't even know how long since Pete Carroll was there. I think the time with Mark Sanchez or the other guy. Yeah, it's been a while, so I have no idea. We just gotta wait and see. Yeah, that's it for the NFL. Really nothing else for the NFL. There's little stuff here and there. Like coaches interested, player want to be on different teams or retire, simple stuff like that. We don't have to go over that. Now, as for the NBA, games still going on. Players are getting interested in getting traded, and so on. So I'm trying to see what else for the NBA. What else can we talk about? Oh, wow. Breaking news. The Milwaukee Bucks and the New Orleans Pelicans game on Wednesday has been postponed due to their first snowstorm in New Orleans in 15 years. Well, come on, man. Come on. I got 2 fantasy players on this, man. This is so unfair. Now I got 2 guys not gonna play today. No. And my opponent has he has players playing today. Well, this stinks. Wow. This really isn't a good look for my team on fantasy basketball, but yeah, it's gonna be postponed. It says many roads are closed off and icy, and to make matters even worse, Milwaukee is scheduled to host Miami on Thursday, and there's concern on if the team will be able to depart New Orleans in time for the game. Wow. Again, I have another Miami Heat player on my fantasy team, and that's not going to look good either. I'm doing good right now. It's going to ruin my chances of winning. But, yeah, very interesting. A lot of games been delayed in the South due to snowstorms. Later on we'll talk about the whole snow stuff in the South, but another game just got postponed because of this. If you guys heard about, I think a week ago, there was the Atlanta Hawks, and I think Houston Rockets game were postponed. I think in it from when they were supposed to play in Atlanta because of the roads. Yeah, it stinks, man. It stinks. You want to watch some basketball, but I'll explain a little while later why. Why they cancel it even more in depth. Let's see. Bradley Beal said that he would be open waiving his no trade clause to join the Milwaukee Bucks. So it seems like there's a lot of speculation of Bradley Beal going to Miami. You've seen certain videos of him not being interested and want to join a huddle with the team. So it seems like, we're not sure if he's going to stay in Phoenix that long. Me personally, I think he should get traded. I don't think he ever wanted to be there. Like, he wants to be that guy or the second guy. He doesn't want to be the third or fourth guy on the team. And he's on the bench for Phoenix. So it's kind of like, why you bring a superstar player for your team even though he's on the bench? Make it make sense, bro. Doesn't make any sense. So I feel like him going to Milwaukee is really, really good. Because I think, yes, he might be a third star on that team, but I think Lillard and Giannis will definitely, work with him. They'll work with him. KD and Booker, not really. Their play style is different compared to Giannis and Lillard. So, we'll see, but I feel like Beal, personally, I would have Beal on a, team of his own. Or a second. But who knows? We'll see. I think that would be a good fit. But I feel like him going to Miami is even better because the team's not that good. And he'll have more of a chance to be, that ball dominant player that can be maybe the shooting guard, point guard for the team, depending on what role he wants to be in. But yeah, as for other teams, players put up points, you got a up and coming player, rookie Kel L. Ware, been doing good the last couple of games, the last 2 or 3 games. He's been doing really, really good numbers. Recently, he had 20 points, 16 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 47% field goal percentage. So really impressive. I think he had 2 games straight of 20 points or in the teens. So really, really good. As you know, the Joker, triple-double. Pretty much his 4 triple-double in a row without playing in the fourth quarter. This man's going to be MVP for sure. Oh my God, he's so good. Also, yesterday, the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns did make a trade, but not Bradley Beal. It was picks. So the Jazz received a 2031 unprotected first-round pick, and the Suns received 2025, 2027, and 2029 first-round picks. So what does this mean? So this means that the Utah Jazz thinks the Suns are going to be so trash in 2031 that they're just going to give them their picks and get the 2031 pick. I mean, the Suns haven't been that bad in years. So this is really kind of a weird trade right now to do. I don't know. It's kind of a weird trade to even post on social media. But yeah. So now, as for the Jimmy Butler situation, so as you know, Jimmy Butler came back from a 7-game suspension. He played decent minutes, and it's upper 20, maybe 31 minutes a game. But Jimmy Butler has tripled down on his trade request from the Miami Heat, and they have had some productive trade conversations this week. So we're not sure if Jimmy Butler's going to get traded soon or what, because, there sounds like he will get traded, but then it sounds like he's going to stay for the rest of the season. And the thing I don't get about Miami is he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to go to a team, and you can get something out of it. You can get a cheap contract for this year only, or somewhat younger player for a couple of years, and get a bunch of picks. But if you don't make a trade right now before the trade deadline, you're not going to get nothing out of him. Like, he's just going to walk for free. So you could have gotten picks out of it, like 3 picks or something. But we just got to wait and see. But I feel like Miami should do this. I feel like Pat Riley is being a little bit, old-headed. He needs to get a grip. So we just got to wait and see what Miami does. Other than that, there's really, Cam Johnson might be leaving Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets want 2 first-round picks or equivalent in players for him. We'll see how that happens. Many other players are sitting getting traded soon. Nothing really else happened in the NBA. Just that. Two more things before we end off the NBA. Paul George was on this podcast, and he was talking to Andre Drummond, and he said, Andre Drummond said this. He said, remember when we had a conversation, you were coming to Detroit, and you were thinking about it, and he's like, yeah. And pretty much, Paul George said it would have been cool to have 3 players, me, you, and Reggie Jackson, being on that team. Maybe we could have done something special. Bro, you would not done anything special. I'm sorry. You're injury prone. You could have maybe done a half a year, maybe 1 year for Detroit, and then you would have just, did bad, bro. But I might be wrong. Maybe he could have been healthy if he was in Detroit. Who knows? But that would have been an interesting team. Paul George, Reggie Jackson, and Andre Drummond. That would have been pretty solid. I ain't going to hold you. But I don't know how that would have worked out. And last but not least, let's talk about the All-Star. As you know, All-Star votings are still going on. Go vote your favorite All-Star. Vote for Jalen Brunson and Cat, please. But we got some breaking news. Who's going to participate in the All-Star game? And this is not the actual game, but this is the dunk contest. It is 2 players right now. What's his name? Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs. And Matt Bazzell, I don't know what his name is, of the Chicago Bulls for the dunk contest. This is ridiculous. This is really ridiculous. Like, you're having a guard who barely does dunks, and then you have a rookie who, he can kind of dunk, but what? Like, we need Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, bro. That's what we need. But they know the fact that they know it's pointless. They can injure themselves. They just aren't feeling it. But that was the last time the All-Star dunk contest was really good. This is really silly what the NBA is doing. Like, why are you choosing rookies? That barely plays too. I mean, Castle, he does play, but he doesn't dunk really. And the other guy, he barely plays. But his dunk is so I don't know, man. I'm not watching the All-Star game again. I haven't watched it since 4 or 5 years. I'm not watching it at all. Nope, I'm good. I am good with that. I think that's it for the NBA. As for the MLB, oh my god, don't get me started. So the MLB, we got a couple of signings. I'll talk about the more important one. So we got the New York Mets. They signed AJ Minter to a 2-year contract, $22 million deal. AJ Minter is a really good player, I would say. He was with Atlanta for his whole career, for 8 years, I think, or 6 years. The first 3 or 4 years, the ERA wasn't the greatest, 7 or maybe 4-ish ERA. And then the last 3 years, he had under 3, I think it was 2.30, 0.60 something. And it was pretty good. And it says right here, he says, made 39 relief appearances and posted a 2.62 ERA over 34 and 1/3 innings pitched with 35K and a 4.45 FIP. I think it's really good. As you know, the Mets were thinking about either him or Tanner Scott, but Tanner Scott wanted a multi-year deal, 4 years. But as you know, the GM didn't want to give relievers multi-year deals because relievers are not consistent as hitters. So I think it's a good signing for the Mets. AJ Minter will help strengthen their bullpen a lot if he can stay healthy. Last season he had a hip injury, which he's fine now. He got that recovered, but just gotta stay healthy. And I think it's gonna help him with Reed Garrett, with Edwin Diaz in the back end of the bullpen. I think this gonna be a really, really good signing. Personally, I wish we could have gotten Tanner Scott. I think he's better, in my opinion, than AJ Minter. But like I said, Tanner Scott wanted a multi-year deal, which he got from the LA Dodgers. LA Dodgers, a 4-year deal worth $72 million. That's a little bit too much. They overpaid him too much. I'm shocked that they overpaid him too much, but that's what the Dodgers do. They overpay. They don't care. They got a bunch of billionaires in that organization. But AJ Minter, my bad. Tanner Scott, he is pretty much one of the best bullpen guys in the league. Past 3 seasons, he earned his first All-Star nod in 2024. He had 72 total games. He posted a 1.72 ERA across 72 innings pitched. Ooh. With 84K and 22 saves. Really good pitcher. Like I said, you compare him to AJ Minter, way better. This is going to help a lot with the Dodgers. Their pitching is unbelievable right now because they even added Japanese right-handed superstar Roki Sasaki. And what's even crazy is that heel international players, they only cost $6 million or $2 million. It doesn't cost them a lot. And the Dodgers got him at that price for I think for a few years, 3 or 4 years. That's insane. Their bullpen is starting pitching, wow. And that's going to happen. He would definitely go with the Dodgers. The Dodgers always link to every Japanese superstar. It's unfair. The only players from Japan that didn't go to the Dodgers, or at least the West Coast, was the one guy from Boston. I think he's an outfielder. And then Kodai Senga of the Mets. And then, as you know, back in the day, well, not back in the day, but years prior, you had that one pitcher that was on the Yankees. So it's rare for players to come onto the East Coast because the West Coast is more closer to Japan, and I guess LA more of a Japanese headline than the East Coast. But the Blue Jays and the Padres were connected to Sasaki though, which you would think because the Blue Jays in Toronto, they're very, very big on the Japanese culture. They're they have a huge fan base of the Japanese people there. As for the Padres, you know that I forgot who the pitcher for the Padres is, but he's one of the starting pitchers there, and he is a huge fan of him growing up. So it's like us looking up to Derek Jeter, us looking up to Tom Brady. That's how he looked up. For Japanese culture, it's I think they're a god, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, but I thought he would have gone there because he kind of worshipped him kind of. So he just chose LA instead. It's very interesting how the Dodgers are always spending money. How? And a lot of teams are getting annoyed about this, which I am kind of annoyed too, but I shouldn't be talking because I'm a Mets fan and Steve Cohen does spend a lot of money. But, bro, But then again, like I feel like a lot of these other teams, like the Reds, the Pirates, the Marlins, the Nationals, the Athletics, I feel like they can spend the money, but I feel like they never ever spend it. Like the last time Athletics spent it was Severino this past off season. The Marlins, I don't even think they spent a lot of money on a player. The Nationals, they were supposed to give Juan Soto the contract, but that never happened because he didn't want to. He wanted to get a better contract. The Pirates, I don't think they ever spent it that much. The Reds, I think kind of with Joey Votto, maybe. It's just some of these owners need to start spending, you know. So it is what it is. As for the Blue Jays, they signed another player, which is Anthony Santander. There were speculations that they weren't gonna sign Vladimir Guerrero, might bring Pete Alonso, which Pete Alonso is still in the market. We don't know what's going on with him. Nobody wants him, which I'm shocked. But it is what it is. Everyone got first baseman or DH ready. But Anthony Santander, 5-year contract, and I think it's $90 million if I'm correct on that. It is an overpay. I think so, 100%. Teams were not going to give him $90 million. I think more like 60 or 50, something like that range. But the Blue Jays were desperate. They needed more power bat, and I think adding him is really good. His defense isn't the greatest, but his hitting is really good. This past season, he had my bad. He did not this past season, but in 155 games, flashing 235, 308, and a 506 with a career high 44 home runs and 102 RBI. Not the greatest average, I would say, but like overall, like he's a good hitter. I think he might put him in DH sometimes, maybe in defense, which I don't think that's a good idea because he's not that good. Unless you versus a crappy team, then go ahead. But yeah, but you gotta see how Toronto does with this. As for Pete Alonso, I'm not really 100% what's going on. The Mets were going to a different direction, which it sounds like they're still connected with Pete Alonso. I'm not 100% sure because it's very confusing. Because right now I'm looking up, it says my sense there's real interest there from Blue Jays in signing Pete Alonso, and from my read, this guy can't type, that I have on the situation, Alonso would probably be okay with coming here. I think he is open to coming here. This guy cannot type, bro. But it sounds like Pete Alonso might want to go to Blue Jays, but then for some reason I keep hearing he wants to go back to the Mets, and they're still trying to work something out. I have no idea. So we just gotta wait and see what Pete Alonso does. And if he goes to the Mets, he goes back to the Mets. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But as a Mets fan, I think this is okay. If Pete leaves, he always just swings at everything. I know we need a power bat. There's really nobody else out there. I was really leaning forward for the Mets to get Josh Bell, but that didn't happen. So I don't know what to do with the Mets, man. I have no idea. But yeah, I think that's it for the MLB, or the NBA, or the NFL. Now let's talk about the whole election thing. So, as you know, Trump was sworn into office, and he started laying the hammer down, bro. He started laying the hammer down for real. He recently signed an executive order to officially rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Bro, no offense, bro, but why would you name it the Gulf of America? Like, why? Was it the Gulf of Mexico, like, for years? Was it never ever the Gulf of America? That just sounds kind of silly. Like, why would you rename it? And then, whatchamacallit? He signed an executive order to keep TikTok open for 75 days to find a U.S. buyer and suggest giving U.S. 50% control of the business. Okay. As for the TikTok ban stuff, as you know, I have social media for this account for TikTok, as well as I have other social media accounts on TikTok. Been doing TikTok for the past 3 years, made good money, growing a fan base, all that stuff. When I saw, when I was on TikTok right before I got banned, I was literally posting all my videos. All my videos just in case it gets banned for days or weeks so that I can have extra videos so I can post out during that week. And right as I was about to save one more video, it was acting up. The app was acting up. I could not post nothing because when you post it, you save it and it goes right to your camera and you still have the video, you know. So my phone acted up. All of a sudden, it logged me out. I went back on it and it said, you know, what it said. Now TikTok is banned right now. We just gotta work with Trump, this and that. And I'm like, what? It was weird. It's supposed to start on the 19th. And it was the 18th at 10:30, 10:35 at night. That's so weird though. I was like, what? And all of us were flipping out. I wasn't flipping out, but like people in general were. I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, all right. And then literally like 16 hours later, around 12, 1 o'clock, TikTok was back on. TikTok was back on. I was like, what? This makes no sense. How you back on already? So it was like very, very strange. And when I got back on, it was like people were just posting nonstop about TikTok. Oh, this is what happened. And I couldn't find no regular video. Everyone was talking about TikTok. I'm like, bro, can I see something else? So I had to stay off the phone for a while. But then later on, people were still saying I can't go live, this and that. And I'm like, bro, you know it's rebooting, right? Like the app was rebooting. Like I couldn't do some of the stuff until like a few hours later I was able to like post stuff and do certain stuff. So the app had to reboot. Now, I still maybe let me check if I can go live right now. Because it's been 2 or 3 days. Let me see if I can go live. I feel like I may not. Hold on. Oh, now I can go live. Let me see. I can go live now. I'm live. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you just gotta wait and see. And people kept saying Meta. You know, they sold Meta. And then they kept showing that, oh, the CEO of TikTok, changed his name from CEO of TikTok to TikTok. And I'm like, you're all so gullible. Like, people just like, I don't know if it's just they believe everything they think it is, or it's just like, whatchamacallit, or it's like they believe every single person that says it and they don't do their research. Like, I do my research, I double check stuff, I triple check stuff, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Let me look at that. Okay, this person saying it, this person saying it, this person saying it. Okay, that makes sense. Because if you look at one person who says what's going on, and 500 people saying something totally different, why believe that one person? You know? So, always gotta do your research, but that's the thing nowadays. People don't want to do their research. It's very frustrating, but I do agree with some people though. I'll say this is that TikTok feels a little bit different. Because you're not seeing people who sell the merchandise as much. Usually other countries you see them sell it when you're scrolling through, but it might take a while. So like I said, live wasn't acting up the first day or two. Now it works. So maybe we just gotta wait and see. But yeah, it's just very interesting because I think it's the fact that when I saw right before they were about to shut it down is that Biden says they're not going to penalize the apps or TikTok pretty much if they still have the App Store or it's still running, but then TikTok ended up shutting down. And I saw the fact that it said TikTok shut it down just to be safe if they don't get in trouble. And I'm like, bro, he literally said it on the news. So it was just very weird. why that happened, and it was only 16 hours later. Like, why didn't you just leave it up? Like, why didn't you just leave it up during the time being, and Trump in office like literally the next day? It was strange, bro. I don't know. It was very, 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 very weird. But as for the illegal migrants, so right that day when Trump got sworn into office, he signed so many orders, a lot. I don't even know, like 15, 17 papers. I have no idea. And one of it was the raise and roundup of illegal migrants. So it began literally the next day. So within New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, Massachusetts, pretty much everywhere. And I'm not sure where and when did they got there. I'm not sure. They won't tell you anything because it's pretty much they want to keep it a low profile and not get the bad people to, or anyone run away to escape what's going on. So, how do I feel about this? I think this is really good for America to get rid of the really bad criminals of illegal immigrants. I 100% agree. There's over 7,000 of them, I think, or maybe even more, which you need to get rid of them. So I think that's a really good thing that they're doing. Now, for the ones who aren't, bad, that's gonna take a little while for them to actually like get pushed because they're focusing on the bad one than the ones who aren't bad because that's their first thing they're gonna do, which I agree 100%. But it's kind of like this is a very, very debatable, talkative topic that everyone can give their own opinion about. I think what they should do is that if they're good people and they've been working, they're trying to live, then okay, make them U.S. citizens. Like, make them sign stuff. Don't take them out so that they have to go back through everything else. Like, bring them to a place, get them documented, all that stuff. But don't help them after that. Let them be a citizen. Let them do stuff on his own. Don't help them. But I think that would be a better option than just throwing them back for them to try and come back. But I'm not sure about that. It's kind of like very debatable topic you can talk about because you can. It kind of stinks because you want them to do well. I had family who were from like Armenia and Austria, so it's like you would feel bad, you kind of feel bad for them. You want them to have a better life here because your family came over here to have a better life. But in a way, I kind of see it because they didn't do it illegally. They went to it through legally. They went through from their country to New York. That's what they did. So, if they get back to the country and come through, I'm fine with it. It's very iffy topic, very iffy, but we just gotta wait and see. Now, anything else Trump said? There's some little stuff here and there. It's really not that big to talk about. Oh, wow. 2 hours ago, Trump said, Trump to Putin, let's get this war over with. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. And he says this, I'm not looking to hurt Russia. I love the Russian people and always had a very good relationship with President Putin. And this despite the radical left Russia hoax. We must never forget that Russia helped us to win the Second World War, losing almost 60 million lives in the process of all that being said. I'm going to do Russia, whose economy is falling, and President Putin a very big favor. Settle now and stop this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse. If we don't make a deal soon, and soon, I have no other choice to put up high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions on anything being sold by Russia to the United States and various other participating countries. Let's get this war let's get this war, which would never have started if I were president, over with. We can do it the easy way or the hard way, and and the easy way is always better. It's time to make a deal. No more lives should be lost. Sorry, there's a lot of the type there that he put down, but yeah. So pretty much, seems like Trump like putting his feet down. I think Putin had a lot of respect of Trump. I think he's gonna do the right thing. I feel like. I think if he didn't have any respect for Trump, I think it would have been. But hey, Trump being blunt, he's like, "Yo, we're gonna do this or what? Like, stop with the war. Being a bunch of babies over here." But what are you gonna do, man? Uh, Now, as for Trump, also says he plans to classify Mexican drug cartel as terrorist organizations and invoke the Alien Enemy Act of 1798. So he's pretty much going to put the Mexican cartel as a terrorist. Good, good. I like that. I like that. They gotta do that, man. Gotta. Because what I've saw and what I've heard is that the Mexican cartel is literally doing more damage to the American citizen than any other terrorist group that ever came to this land. You gotta say, not bad, not bad. Now after Biden left office, there was a lot of sketchy stuff that's happening. A lot of sketchy stuff. There was like certain stuff that like Biden wasn't capable of doing stuff. Like he would just be waking up at 10 a.m. and going to sleep at 4 p.m. and he wouldn't do any of the work really and just leave it up for everyone else. And then Dr. Fauci was like doing like very like weird stuff that was like kind of like you need to get arrested, like about the whole vaccine stuff that's happened, and it's a lot of corrupt stuff. I'm not really into politics, but as I get older, I'm kind of getting into it more and more. I think it's really messed up that we have so many corrupt people in this world that we shouldn't be having any of this. Like, you're grown folks, bro. Like, you should be doing the right thing. You should be doing the right thing. It's really, really not hard to do the right thing. Like, it's not. Like, it's just, that's why I would never get into, like, politics or, like, just trying to change and make laws. Because, like, what's the point? Me going in there, so what? 4 years later, someone else who's evil can take it away. And it's gonna be in a circle all the time. But trust me, if we were a country like Russia, like you keep the same president for like years. Oh, I don't know how that would have worked out. But yeah, man. I mean, life is something else. I mean, we just gotta be a better nation. We gotta be better to one another. Like, we gotta stop this. Like, I think that's the thing about social media too. Social media for real, like, changed a lot of people. Like, from when I was a kid to now, like, I could just tell a lot of stuff really changed people. Like, it's just, I don't know, maybe because I had like a kid mind back in the day, or maybe it's just middle school, high school. I kind of see it, but kind of didn't see it, or maybe I'm just daydreaming. But I feel like when we were kids or in high school, middle school, I feel like it was much more simple. It wasn't as corrupt. Maybe because it wasn't shown on video, where it wasn't all this proof going out. Who knows? Maybe everything was secretive and you couldn't really tell. But I feel like social media really changed how people run this country, and also just people in general. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was able to have conversation with people, able to, do kid stuff, like go outside, play ball, lemonade stand. Now it's like ruining everyone's mind with like technology. Like, even when TikTok went down, everyone's crying about it. Like crying, like recording and crying. Like, the only reason why I was a little upset because ByteDance is connected with CapCut. This is when I edit our podcast and all. So it's kind of like, oh, come on. But but that's the only reason why I was mad because I wanted CapCut. Everything else was trash. I tried to do the other editing tool, but it was trash. But I didn't really care when TikTok was going off. But everyone I saw knew they were complaining, oh, TikTok is gone. I'm like, bro, you're literally scrolled through all of it. You don't grow a business. You don't, like, why are you crying over an app? Like, I'll get it though. I agree with the people who actually like were getting emotional about it because they were working on their business for 5 years straight, 6 years straight, like since 2016 when it first came out, and they were growing a business, which I agree because that's like your livelihood and you cannot play with that, which I feel bad for you. That's nothing to make fun of or to, you know, disagree on. But the people who are crying over an app that like you post and you barely do nothing with it, bro, chill out. But yeah, I just think that technology really like took control of everyone, pretty much. Um, like trust me, it takes over me a little bit. Like every day I'm posting videos, I'm editing videos. I think it kind of like holds me back too. Like dang, like I need a life. Like trust me, it does. Like sometimes I'm like, dang, like I really need a life. I need to socialize more. Like it stinks. It really does stink. But the only reason why I do it is I'm trying to grow a business. Trust me, I wouldn't be doing this stuff all the time if I wasn't growing a business. But yeah, guys, that is the podcast for today. Episode 8. Talked a good amount of NBA, a little bit of NBA, MLB, some signings, NFL playoffs, some coaching talks, and then the whole, president election thing that happened, and TikTok, and lifestyle stuff. If you guys are new to the channel, like, comment, and also subscribe if you want to hear more sports and lifestyle stuff. And yeah, see you guys in the video.